There was perspiration obscuring my sight, agony consuming my lower extremities, and there was this onset of fatigue that was making every step I took painfully protracted. But I caught a glimpse of the goal in this distance, and that empowered this man on a mission. The man being I, and the mission being a half marathon. 63,360 inches, 5,280 feet, 13.1 miles. Fellow Toastmasters, today I would like to take you all on a journey that will allow you to vicariously live my first half marathon experience and my very first time in a long distance running event. It all started with silence. Sweet, soothing silence. I was sleeping calmly in my bed when all of a sudden this loud ruckus emanating from my phone brought it all to an abrupt and harsh cessation. I woke up, and so I was kind of discombobulated, wasn't really sure what was going on. But as soon as I looked at my phone and saw the time, I immediately realized, oh my God, today's the day. I sprung out of my bed and went in search of all the things that I had meticulously laid out the night before. So I got my shoes on, my running shorts on, my shirt. Actually, I kind of said that in the wrong order, but anyhow, I put everything on that I needed, got the gels that I needed so I'd have the energy to run. And one very important thing too was my nipple guards. Yes, nipple guards are extremely important if you're doing a long distance running. Anyone who's ever done it will let you know that because they're critical. You don't want to be bleeding from here when you're running that long. So, got everything ready, and I was off to downtown Miami. This is where the event was taking place. So I headed off to downtown Miami, and I was greeted by these large crowds of people and the longest lines I have ever seen for a bathroom. I mean, it was ridiculous, like thousands of people wanting to go to the bathroom. So I quickly joined my team, started doing my warm-up, started doing my stretches, getting ready to go. And then I joined the welter of runners trying to figure out where they were supposed to position themselves, where to start off. So I got in line, I had all this energy, all this enthusiasm, I was ready to go. And then of course there's thousands of people trying to channel through these small streets. So I waited. And waited. And waited some more. It must have been like 30, 40 minutes, I don't even remember how long it was. But finally then, I crossed the starting line. And I was off, and I had all this energy, all this enthusiasm, I felt like an Olympian, I was great. And if you can just imagine this, it was still kind of dark outside. The beginning of the race was crossing over the Rickenbacker Causeway. I had the magnificent downtown Miami skyline on one side, like beautifully lit up. On the other side, there was this beautiful landscape of Miami Beach. I could just kind of see like the silhouette of the buildings. There was like a bit of the sunrise just coming up. It was amazing. There was also like this breeze coming through. So I could almost feel like, you kind of like felt that breeze, and also like if you were flying. So it was just like this great sensation. And it was just very empowering. I also, started running, and I started seeing like all these different stations of people like cheering us on, and people, giving out the drinks and everything like that. And I saw one of the most amazing sunrises off on the distance as I was crossing over the beach. It was truly an unforgettable sight. Posed for a couple of pictures here and there because there was photographers stationed all throughout the race, and I was just enraptured by all this eclectic mix of like people, advertisements, crowds. There was just so many things, and there was even, weirdly enough, a Viking horn in the race. There was this guy literally in the middle of the street with this, just picture this huge horn going like whoa, and I was like, wow, like how random is that? But it was very, very motivational, to have like this sound, like I felt like a Viking, like going to battle or something. So it was pretty cool. So I was running again. I felt felt like an Olympian. I was empowered. I was in to win this. I ran 7 miles, 8 miles, 9 miles. Stuck good with my training. 10 miles. I was pushing through, and then all of a sudden I hit 12 miles. And all that energy, that excitement that was so prevalent at the beginning, progressively started dwindling down. My self-belief just waning. And I started doubting myself. I was just so tired, so worn out that I started thinking, man, am I really going to be able to do this? And it was tough. The fatigue started setting in, and this brings me back to the beginning of my speech. I mean, I had this sweat on my face, it was making it hard to see, pain in my legs, and this fatigue that just, was cramping up my legs and making it so hard to walk. But I kept on repeating this mantra in my head and saying, mind over matter, mind over matter, mind over matter, just pushing through. And then I got to the final stretch of the race, and something happened. I don't know if it was maybe seeing the finish line in the distance, or the energy of the crowd just kind of reverberating through the streets, but it was as if this big force just grabbed me up and carried me through the end of the way. Like everything seemed to kind of slow down. Not in a bad way, like where it's taking forever to get there, but it just kind of slowed down, and it felt like I don't know, it just felt surreal almost. And I could see the people on the crowd in the stands, when I was getting to the final stretch, just cheering on. And I think at one point it almost seemed like I saw the guy from all the Adam Sandler movies, Rob Schneider going "You can do it!" So I just saw this, and man, I just pushed through. And in the final moments, I looked up, saw the clock, smiled because it was a good time, and I crossed the finish line. Moments later, I found myself sitting down with 2 ice packs on my knees, a medal around my neck, and with this utter joy and sense of accomplishment that words cannot describe. Mr. Toastmaster.